Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Hollywood thought it would be a good idea to film a movie on a computer again! No! Hello, my name is Hunter, the movie reviewing horse, because when it comes to cinema... H.G. Wells, good old Herbert George Wells. You've probably seen some of his books around. In fact, some of you have probably read a few of his books. If not, you've definitely heard of this guy. He was a teacher, he was an artist, he was a writer. They named a crater on the moon after him. The man lived to be 79. Died in 1946, back when it was impressive to not die at 40. And writer of one of the most famous books of all time, War of the Worlds. I fucking hate this book. The setup and concept is great. Aliens invade Earth. Love it. Lots of humans dying. Can't get enough of that stuff. But then they all die from germs. You're seriously telling me that your super advanced alien civilization that traveled hundreds of light years to invade and destroy us all didn't think about the germs? I suppose it could be worse, though. It's not like M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong did any better, where his aliens were completely vulnerable to water. The stuff that most of the planet is covered in. Or their weird inability to open pantry doors.
Because they seem to have trouble with pantry doors.
Or the cataclysmically stupid aliens who invaded us and enslaved us in Battlefield Earth. They all get wiped out because we set off one bomb on their planet and their entire planet is full of explosion gas or some shit. So, as alien invasions go, we're obviously grading on a curve. But back on track, because Tom Cruise didn't exactly do anything to help either. Over-dramatization, adding in a bunch of stuff that just made the story worse. The fact that these highly sophisticated tripods can be taken down by a pile of hand grenades. Oh, and let's not forget, our alien invasion force is still dying from germs. This is stupid. The story of War of the Worlds is stupid. Orson Welles made it fun for a little bit, but it's stupid. But that didn't stop some idiots in Hollywood from looking at it and saying, yeah, that's stupid, but I bet I can make it even stupider. Yes, War of the Worlds in 2025. Yes, absolutely the year to bring back War of the Worlds for some reason. Trailers for this came out like, 2 weeks ago. Whatever, we already shipped the film. There was no marketing for this. Like, Wikipedia doesn't even have a section on the marketing. I don't have a film budget. I don't have information on one of our production companies. There's a lot of gaps here. I had to do a lot of digging with this. And that's when I discovered that it turns out this was all filmed in the midst of COVID, where all the actors had to film at home in front of a computer screen and social distancing was the norm. And this was the only way we could actually make the film. Now, as interesting as an idea as that is, that makes it worse. This movie came out 5 years late. The irony is, if this movie did come out in 2020, it probably would have worked. We would have looked at it like, oh, that's an interesting experimental way to make a movie. But it sat on a shelf for 5 years. So now we get a movie about a guy who works for the surveillance state in an era where we are hopelessly, helplessly terrified of the surveillance state. The timing on this is piss poor. By the way, If you were paying attention to the trailer, yes, the entire fucking movie is shot this way. This is a style of movie called screen life, or computer screen film for a more layman term, where the entire film is shot on a computer. Like, I think the best example of this would probably be Unfriended, even though that movie was complete shit. In fact, all of them might be shit. I don't know a single movie that does this well. Now, the first movie to try this was a film called Thomas in Love back in the year 2000. You'd think after 25 years we could figure out how to get it right. Wrong. I think I genuinely hate everyone who had anything to do with this existing. And I also think I can confidently say that. I genuinely hate this movie and everything about it. The acting is bad. The green screening is bad. The effects. I genuinely mean this. I think Asylum does better special effects. At least in a few of their movies. Come on, let's not be animals here. Who the hell looked at War of the Worlds and said, you know what would be exciting if we saw that story play out through the lens of someone sitting at their desk for an hour and a half? Which is actually this movie. We spend an hour and a half watching this guy at his desk. And he's able to hack into everybody and FaceTime everybody, and that's how he figures out what the heck is going on through people's phone screens and copious amounts of stock footage. Like, I'm very aware that I'm looking through stock footage in a lot of these instances. One scene that comes to mind is that we're supposed to be looking at the pilots of a B-2 bomber, but this is clearly not the cockpit of a B-2 bomber. I think that's an F-15 or something. There's probably plane nerds down in the comments section telling me what it is right now. Alright, I'm not gonna take your movie seriously if you're just gonna go to storyblocks.com, type in military, and use like half of the things on there. And I'm not just saying that, because I just did that. I'm pretty sure this shot is in the movie, actually. And we need to talk about these story revisions that they made, because one of the things they did do, at the very least, was update the story of War of the Worlds for a more modern audience, which I actually got pretty excited about. I was like, okay, maybe we can find some other way to get rid of the aliens other than they all died from germs? Actually, yes. Well, yes and no. There's actually a whole load of convoluted bullshit we have to get through before we manufacture a virus, computer virus, that kills all of them. Because, yeah, the aliens, turns out, they're here to harvest our computer's data. Because they eat it. They thrive on computer data. They don't copy it over either, they just delete it. And for some reason, hacking into all of our data centers causes just airplanes to just cataclysmically fall out of the sky, and the jets stop working, and just everything stops working, and boats crash, and all this bullshit starts happening. Listen, I don't think the military is this dependent on computer data centers. I, however, am not afraid, because if aliens do come out of nowhere and start harvesting my computer's data, all they will find is 80,000 pages of Waluigi hentai. It's their loss. This story is crap. Like, really crap. It's also just a total shill fest for Amazon. Like, one of the characters literally works for Amazon Logistics, which is like the worst job in the world. I speak from personal experience on this.
Faith can load it here and I can get it to you. Ah, Prime Air.
Prime Air.
Oh yes, Prime Air! The Amazon service, remember that one? The service where between the time this movie was made and it actually came out, it no longer fucking exists in the United States? I remember that! Now, Amazon shilling aside, the whole reason we're able to defeat the aliens is because this guy's daughter just so happened to be working on a DNA splicing technique that they just so happened to know how to translate into computer code, that they just so happened to be able to upload to the server that the aliens just so happened to be very, very keen to hack into. This is worse than them dying from the germs. In an era where people are paranoid about big governments harvesting our computer's data, and they literally want us to upload our ID to YouTube, you decided to release a movie about the surveillance state and aliens coming to harvest all of our data. This is really, really, really bad timing, guys. And you know what makes it a whole lot worse? You should definitely see the movie. I'm serious! You have to see this shit! Everything considered, everything on the table, you really should go watch this movie. I firmly believe that everyone should go watch this movie. This could be our Plan 9 from outer space. The Plan 9 from outer space for our generation could be this. I want it to be this. It's not The Room. It's not Emoji Movie. It's not Disappointments Room. It's this. This is the new Citizen Kane of bad fucking movies. It's actually really hard to find a movie that's this fucking bad. A movie this bad only comes along once in a generation. Asylum has tried, time and time again, to create the new Citizen Kane of bad movies. Sharknado came close, but this... I'm pretty sure this has worse effects than Sharknado. Okay, think about logistics for a second. Amazon is a multi-billion-dollar company. Asylum gives their special effects department 35 cents. And the effects in this movie are this fucking bad. It's an embarrassment. I don't know what went wrong here. Something went wrong here. Amazon needs to be, like, genuinely embarrassed that this happened because, like, again, if it came out in 2020, it would have been cute and charming. But it's 2025. It sat on the shelf for 5 years, which tells me you had time to polish it, and you didn't. So what the hell is going on here? Jeff, buddy, what are you doing? Probably trying to keep his head down while Elon Musk makes a fool of himself. And we need to talk about this acting. It is bad! Like, this could give Tommy Wiseau a run for his money. Now, I could tell you how bad the acting is, but I'd rather show you with this clip of our main character on a video call watching his son potentially die. Or maybe doing his best impression of that surprised cat meme. That's probably closer. Ice Cube's performance is being upstaged by a goddamn internet meme about a cat. Which says way more than it should. It's not just him either. Nobody is acting in this movie. Not Ice Cube, not Ava Longoria, not Clark Gregg. Fucking Clark Gregg is in this movie. For God's sake. You were in the first fucking Avengers movie.
It's too risky, Briggs. Shut it down now.
With all due respect, General, Goliath will be activated whether you like it or not. It's the greatest surveillance system the world has ever seen.
What I'm trying to say, General, is that it's like no other spy satellite yet you've ever seen. That's you. That's my impression of you. This acting is so bad, it needs to stop. Maybe then everyone in this movie will stop acting like a fucking moron. For example, how you activated the greatest surveillance system the world has ever seen, despite this unnamed general telling you not to do it because it will cause the aliens to invade and kill everybody, but you turned it on anyway. It's just... yes. Massive surveillance system versus, full-scale alien invasion. This is a really fucking stupid decision. Or our main character, who is the greatest hacker in the world, but it turns out his son is the greatest hacker in the world, and he didn't know about that until halfway through the movie, and he's been hunting him for months. You stupid fucking idiot. You hack into goddamn surveillance systems and auto-drive Teslas in this movie. How do you not have Ring 0 kernel permissions on your son's computer and have an idea of everything that he's doing at any given time? And again, I don't know what I expected from the same company that produced both Unfriended movies and Apollo 18. That's real. That's not a joke.
I am not making this shit up!
Also, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of this technology just doesn't work this way. Apparently the only reason the super hacker's dad didn't find him was because he was bouncing his IP around like regular hackers do. So why weren't all of his hacker friends doing the exact same thing and they all died? And also, like, I'm pretty sure the government has the technology to track that kind of shit nowadays. Why doesn't the super advanced alien invasion force have the ability to do that? Also, their tripods can fly, but only when they feel like it. What? And how does air sealing a building keep them from finding the server that they're after? Which, they totally ignore that, by the way. They find it anyway. And why does uploading the virus to this specific server just make all the aliens kill themselves? Which we don't even get to see that, by the way. We just have to take their word for it because that's the end of the movie. And like, why wouldn't the aliens just spit this back out? And if they love data so much, what exactly would AI-generated content do to them? Because now I'm genuinely curious. Would that make them sick? Because with all the stupid shit we put on the internet these days, I have reason to believe NFTs would make them puke their guts out. I mean, according to the movie, they've been harvesting our data since the 1940s when we definitely had computers. What were they doing back then? Harvesting the books? And if they've been around this long, where did they go? Did Ernest Hemingway write a book that made them all go away? Is that what For Whom the Bell Tolls is? He like put, I don't know, subliminal messaging in there to make the aliens all go away? Like how Catcher in the Rye made that one guy kill John Lennon? Or maybe he was just fucking insane and this story is bad. Oh, but you don't need me to tell you that. I think that was very clear the moment I told you the aliens were coming to harvest all of our computer's data. Because they eat it.
Again! Not making this shit up!
What's good about this movie? Absolutely nothing. There is nothing good to be found here. It is a terrible, terrible, terrible movie. However, it's silly as shit. It takes itself really, really seriously. This is not a serious movie. This is a silly, silly movie. With one or two actually kind of funny jokes.
But they blew up my house. They blew up my house, man.
Dad, let's
Why
focus.
couldn't you run that signal through Brian's house so they can blow his shit up?
Look, Dad.
See, like that.
I don't have
Yeah.
alien invasion
Okay,
insurance.
that's kind of funny. And the guy turning on the surveillance system that attracts all the aliens here, he's like, I'm gonna activate the surveillance system whether you like it or not. You can't tell me what to do anymore, Dad. That's so goddamn dumb. It's silly. He hacks a Tesla and makes it drive his daughter somewhere because Teslas, you know, their self-driving mode is so totally reliable.
Tonight, a Florida jury forcing Tesla to pay $243 million to victims in a deadly 2019 crash. Seen here and driven by George McGee, crashed into them. McGee testifying he believed the autopilot would break if an obstacle was in the way.
Yeah, so we get a director's cut of this movie, right? Where it rolls over about 50 fucking times but still makes it. This is how we make the movie a masterpiece. This movie has a lot of chat rooms in it of them talking with, like, the president and stuff. Now, like, what if instead of being really serious about it, what if we just had, like... Masterpiece! And I found that in, like, 10 seconds of just a quick little YouTube search. Because, like, if they're just gonna go onto story blocks and pull up all the stock footage, we might as well embrace that mentality. Basilevs, I am available for consulting work on your next film because I believe we can make it very, very silly. The term "so bad it's good" gets thrown around a lot these days, and this movie is absolutely in that category. And everybody should see it. It's really worth checking out. It is one of those movies you really have to see to believe. Get a bunch of people together, sit down on the couch, and just make fun of it. This is our new Plan 9 from outer space. It might not be quite as dumb as Plan 9 from outer space, but still, it's actually a really close race because the story of both of those movies is really, really bad. If you're looking for the same caliber as something like The Room or Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny, this is the film for you. If you're looking for the next blockbuster hit, yeah, no, I'm sorry. You blew it, Jeff. And unfortunately, as review scores go, we're not allowed to account for the absurd silliness of your movie. And mostly I'm looking at that 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, which has gone up to 3% as of me recording this. But I think the overall score on this has to be a 1. Really, really low. When it's all said and done, what we're left with here is a really bad movie, which is just funny. Unintentionally funny. And that is clearly not the tone they were trying to convey, so, yeah, this movie fails across the board. Really, you don't really need me to tell you that. I'm pretty sure that 3% on Rotten Tomatoes speaks for itself. But holy crap! And you thought they were overreacting. No, believe me, they were not. It actually is that bad. A movie this bad, it's a special occasion. Hollywood makes bad movies all the time. But this is that special kind of bad that you only get once every decade or so. And everybody should watch it. I genuinely believe that, because at the end of the day, you already had a Prime subscription. You were gonna watch Fallout. You might as well watch this while you're at it. Because it's just so dumb. Which is kind of inherent anyway. War of the Worlds was always kind of dumb, but this is it. Trying to be modernized for a modern audience and failing miserably. Definitely check this movie out if you're looking for a laugh. Because at the end of the day, this might be one of the best comedy films of the year. And that is not the tone they were going for. And that just makes it so much more delicious. Aliens are my favorite thing to believe in. But this was a bit too unbelievable. My name is Hunter, and this has been Hunter Reviews. If you'll excuse me, I think I'm gonna go back up that Waluigi hentai I mentioned earlier. I'd like to thank today's awesome sponsor, Ground News, because the news is getting so unreliable now that we need a better news source to keep us grounded. And that's what Ground News gives us. Take this article, for example, about how Delta and United are being sued for selling windowless window seats. Yeah, this is the first thing that popped up on my feed. Apparently, only 17% of people on the right are reporting on this. 50% of this is coming from the left, and 33% of it is coming from the center. This is the great thing about Ground News, is you can figure out where the news is leaning. Head to Ground News down below in the description. Keep yourself informed, because it's getting scary out there, and you need a news source that actually works. As always, we'd like to thank our very generous channel members for helping make this video possible. I know it's been a long wait, but we're finally back, and now we have some new Hunter Reviews episodes lined up, despite various potential changes that may be going on in my life. We're still gonna try to get these episodes out. But until then, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. Here's some credits, and we will see you soon.